I am here, give me money, give me money, give me money. How do you know that you can become an entrepreneur, right? For me, it's 10 years. If you put in that time, then go and start up a soup bar or a bakery or a restaurant, whatever. But you should have apprenticed. Training, coaching करने का. Greg, तेरा business plan क्या है? Business plan. What does that mean? I don't know, man.
मैंने बहुत से ऐसे लोगों को देखा है जो सिर्फ मार्केटिंग करते हैं, पर्सनल ब्रांड बना लेते हैं, but when they have to deliver, there is a big question mark.
On to that. Is it okay if I ask a question? Hey! Who are they? Purely.
If I say and tell their names, my podcast will.
You never know. It might just zoom. Never mind. नियत अगर सही हो ना, तो आप जाओगे ऊपर. Balance the imbalance.
But it's like a sadhana, you're saying, that gets you to a better space. No.
Yeah. Paradigm of strengths. Go figure your strengths out.
Okay, now this is a personal question I'm asking you.
Are you going to get me in trouble?
I don't get you in trouble.
Okay.
Like, we've never had a bald guy on our show.
Sexy?
They're quite, yeah, they're sexy, of course.
Therefore, I started this thing called presentation science. Have I answered your question or digressed too much? I hope I have.
Hello and welcome to Rashi Foundation. Meet Greg Chapman, who's the founder of Client-Centered Consulting, CCC. He's an ICF certified executive coach, management consultant, helping individuals towards profound personal and professional goals. Greg, आपका बहुत-बहुत स्वागत है कि आप आए.
Thank you, Rashi. Thank you for your kind words.
Okay, to start with, I want you to tell us what inspired you to pursue a career in coaching and instructional design.
Honestly, not much inspiration there. Okay, so the year was 2001, and my dad had, as every dad does, had big aspirations for me. Tried to get me into being a doctor and wanted me to sit for IAS and etc. etc. The list was endless, And I tried studying for them. Ho nahi paya, I just people would be submitting up their answer scripts in an exam, in a competitive exam, and I'd just be halfway through wondering why the hell would somebody do it so fast? So that was it. And this is strange because on the one hand, I hated study from the core of my heart, but I loved reading. Until this day, that's what's kept me going, really. And so I just asked myself, what is it that I can do well? I like to teach. So back in the day, like I was in class 12, and this is like way back. And I remember teaching MA kids now, but MA English, so Shakespeare and stuff like that. So that just came naturally to me. So I came down to I was from Nainital, and I came down to Gurgaon, and this is back in 2001. There was an opening. I joined, and I just got into training, and here I am. Yeah. So
tell me more about your CCC. मैंने CCD तो सुना था.
CCD.
लेकिन I want you to tell me.
काफी CCD आ गया CCC में, because, and I'll explain what I mean by that. So, have you ever had one question sitting in your head? Hey, this is what I want. How can I get this thing, whatever that thing is, for 1 year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, and that thing just does not go out of your head, right? I ask myself a lot of people, what's that one thing that's gnawing at your head? Ye karna hai, whatever that is, buying a red Ferrari or some other thing. So I too had this thing that I wanted to do, and that from 2001 to about 2018 just kept gnawing at my head, not letting me sleep too much. And that was, how do I move back to the hills, right? So I work. I'm a consultant, and I've been working for consultants. So about 17 years or so, 17, 18 years or something like that, I put down working for somebody else, right? But that little thing stayed at the back of my mind. How can I get back to the hills? And so 2018, I picked up bags and baggages, and I just moved. And somebody asked me a question. He says, do you know 10 HR heads that can give you dhanda? I said, I know 2. So, it was a bit of a gamble, but picked up my entire family. We were stationed at Gurgaon. People told me, what the hell? Yeah, Gurgaon is where all your clients are. You're just going to start something new. I said, but this thing in my head just won't let me stay here. Yeah. So I just moved to where I am now, which is between Dehradun and Mussoorie. And yeah, I've been here for 5 years. 2018, so do the math. Maybe it's a little more than, it's going to be 6 years, yeah. And I set up client-centered consulting inspired by Carl Rogers. So I'm trained in therapy as well, Gestalt and transactional analysis. So Carl Rogers, as a lot of people may know, he was one of the greatest therapists. So inspired by his client-centered therapy, I came up with client-centered consulting. It's a mouthful. I realize it may not be the sexiest name, but yeah, that spoke to me. Started that, and I started as this one-man army here. But the team has grown. We're now 9 people, 9 facilitators and coaches, stationed in, of course, headquartered in Dehradun. But a lot of my team is in Gurgaon. Some are in Mumbai, and a couple of them are in South Africa. So that's, have I answered your question or digressed too much? I hope I have. Chalega. Good.
Nice. So what is this South Africa thing? So honestly, I feel that you have many branches, because you have people all around. तो क्या ये South Africa का क्या चक्कर है?
South Africa, a couple of my folks, Kirsty and Andrew, they're in South Africa, in Cape Town, and I'm forgetting where. There's another place. So I just met them online, and we were undergoing a transaction analysis, a training. It was a long training. 1-2 साल का training था उसमें. So we were there. We met online. Chemistry is matched, and we just started here. Yeah, and one of my the lady who handles the back end operations and stuff, she's in Kolkata. So yeah, it's across a few places.
Nice. That's the word. Okay. So how do you actually define meaningful goals? And why are they important in personal and professional development? Because you're a trainer, so I need to know this for my own personal being also.
See, this word purpose just scares the hell out of me. I don't know. So there's another word called ikigai. And off late, so I read the book and stuff, good book, not taking anything away from that. But off late, I've seen, you're spending a lot of people, including me. So ikigai kya hai, kya hai, kya hai. You're running after that perfect alignment of what you love doing, what you're great at, what the market wants, etc. etc. There are many circles in that. I'm just shortcutting it the Jim Collins way. वो बीच का ना, that perfect thing ends up causing more stress here. So, it's like running after happiness, running after the ikigai. And I'm saying, hold on a second here. Simple way of doing it. Simple way for me. It's a simple but difficult way of doing it. And that is, I think Stephen King said something like this. I'm going to murder what he said, but he said something as, it's like breadcrumbs. You take breadcrumbs and you sift. And you sift and you sift and you sift. And then you see a few left, right? And over time, you keep sifting, in this terms, ideas are like breadcrumbs. You keep sifting, everything keeps falling through the floor. But over time, and this is going back to what I said initially, what's that one thing that really gnaws at your mind? And you will see that there is this idea or little voice constantly calling you back on that one idea. So I think this is a 2 or a 3-part piece. So one, tuning in, just, everybody can do it. It's just about listening to that little voice. So I think that's step number 1. What is it that's staying with me over and over and over and over again? So that's the first piece. The second piece is then building a process or building the courage to go and pursue that. I think the third piece, which could maybe the second piece or the third piece, whatever, also having a system that can help you get that. And I can expand on the third piece if you want me to, but yeah.
To expand that.
Okay, so what I mean by a system is long back, and I'm writing a book on this, in fact. Long back, I went up to this is long back, I mean 2003, 2004. I went up to somebody who was a senior vice president in one of these big companies and stuff. And I asked him, he was close to me, I asked him, Uncle, should I become an entrepreneur? Banna chahiye, nahi banna chahiye? He said, यार देख ना सब लोग ना नौकरी की ओर भाग रहे हैं जो, and he showed me some stats, you know, smart guy, right? And वो सब नौकरी की ओर भाग रहे हैं, और बहुत दिक्कत है यार, मतलब unless you're this great guy and you have this sharp mind and stuff like that. Do you have this sharp mind and all? I said, नहीं यार, average intelligence at best, no. So he said, no, then stay with नौकरी, right? But I asked him a follow-up question, and the follow-up is many years, so I don't know what I asked him first or second. But the follow-up question I think I asked him was, how do I know should I become an entrepreneur or not? When I asked him that, I remember he clearly looped back and he said, "यार तू देख लेना, देख सब लोग भाग रहे हैं," and stuff like that. But that question got answered for me in my journey, in the tough way, having egg on my face a lot of time. And to me, the answers is threefold. Three things. If you can get these three things right, that the entrepreneur where is going. And I'm not saying your purpose or whatever, or your ikigai or that breadcrumb is becoming an entrepreneur. I'm not saying that. For me, it is, right? One of the things. So here is the answer to that. How do you know that you can become an entrepreneur, right? So if you have any one of these three, go for it. Either one, you have this crazy. I was reading about the CEO, and he was into banking. I forget his name and company. He was into banking and stuff. So he just gave it up. And then one day he's sitting at the horse races, and he's looking at these horses running and stuff. And he just went and analyzed the hell out of horse racing. And then he just said, I'm starting my company in horse racing. He started doing phenomenally well. So what I'm saying is, either Uncle was right in a way. He said, if you have this great analytical ability, you can look at a business, understand it, go to the depth of it, boom, go become an entrepreneur. So if you have that crazy analytical ability that you can understand the weeds of the business, go do, right? So that's the first thing. The second thing is, you've been brought up in a family where you've only heard dhanda, dhanda, dhanda at the end of the day. And that's about it. That's all you know. And somebody saying, here is a platform. I have established this X business, whatever, FMCG or whatever business. And buddy, just join the family business, man. And you have all the cushion. You can make mistakes, doesn't matter. And you know what? You want to go to Harvard? Sure, go to Harvard, no problem. Come back. So if you got that, that's the second one. And the third one is, of course, I mean, if you've gone to Harvard and all, that's a no-brainer. Obviously, if you've gone to ISBs of the world and stuff, that's a no-brainer. That yeah, you can become an entrepreneur. But for somebody who has not, the third one is and to me, that's what has worked for me. If you've apprenticed at someone's place, if you've been along with someone baking that bread, let's just say, putting that soup together for 10 years. And for me, that number is 10 years. You could say 8 years, 5 years. For me, it's 10 years. If you put in that time, then go and start up a soup bar or a bakery or a restaurant, whatever. But you should have apprenticed. Then go and do it. There is a higher chance that you will succeed. So that to me is the, 3 ways of ascertaining whether you should become. And that's what I used on myself. And I had apprenticed. I didn't know it at the time. It was just serendipity. I didn't know it at the time. I had apprenticed at a few consultancies and saw the nitty-gritties, the intestines and the guts and the blood and all of that. And so I knew how things ran as much as I could. And that kind of inspired me to start on my own. That gave me, let's just go for it. So sorry, long answer to that.
So adding to this, I want to know why one should become an entrepreneur. That you've just told me. Now tell me about the lessons and the strategies you've learned in your journey when people face challenges as an entrepreneur.
My ex-boss asked me that, yeah, what's your business plan? I had no bloody clue, yeah. What's my business plan? I knew the training, coaching karne ka. Simple, training karne ka. Not even coaching. Back then, I'm a trainer first, by the way. We picked up some coaching along the way, and I coach in therapy and all, but I'm a trainer first and coach second. So my boss, ex-boss, asked me, Greg, tera business plan kya hai? I said, business plan? What does that mean? I didn't know, man. And this is when I was leaving my previous company, So that apprentice thing helped, all right? And what are the lessons that I have picked up? I tell you a lesson I picked up recently, okay? And this has been like like a ton of bricks hitting me in the face. And I'm wondering, how dumb can I get, man? This is a new level of dumbness that I didn't know this. I didn't realize this. And it's something that this fellow, what's his name? Drucker said this. He said there are only two things, innovation and marketing, right? All my life, I had my reading. I like reading, like I said, reading, researching, talking to people. I had spent on becoming a good, better trainer, refining that anybody who's better than me, how can that person be better than me? I'm better. I will show. I will get that higher score. And this is how I live my life for most of my life. And this reckoning has just come a few years back. Then I realized, hold on a second, man. I have seen people who are average facilitators, but doing way better than me. Why? Because I can name, I'm not going to, but I can name names right now. I have a few names who come in my head. They've done phenomenally well, much better, because they cracked the whole marketing game. Now, what I mean by marketing could be many things. I don't want to get into that, but very quickly, marketing could mean what's your personal brand? How are you positioning yourself? How are you doing the digital space? How are you becoming a thought leader? How are people knowing you? So these are the things which have been totally eclipsed from my worldview. And I'm saying, Greg, how could I be such an idiot, man? So now, of late, boss, this is the way to go. ये करने का, training coaching अब नहीं करने का, वो थोड़ा marketing करने का. That's my like a mantra.
You rightly put it, but मैंने बहुत से ऐसे लोगों को देखा है जो सिर्फ मार्केटिंग करते हैं, ब्रांडिंग करते हैं, पर्सनल ब्रांड बना लेते हैं,
Right.
लेकिन फंडिंग भी ले लेंगे ब्रांडिंग के ऊपर, ठीक है, बट व्हेन दे हैव टू डिलीवर there was a big question mark.
Yeah.
Because people somehow can't balance that. This is what I have seen and observed.
Right.
Or my whatever little I've learned.
Yeah.
What do you have to say on that?
So I want to ask you a question before I respond to that. Is it okay if I ask a question?
Of course.
So, okay. So these people that you're talking about, I'm sure you have a few names in mind, all right? Who are they? Okay, don't answer that. I'm just having fun. Okay, these people that you have in mind, so are they purely...
if I say and tell their names, my podcast will...
You never know. It might just zoom. Never mind. Okay. So, no. So are they succeeding well financially? Success could be many things, but financially, are they succeeding well?
Greg, my personal learning has been anybody can get funded, anybody can get a personal brand, but in the long run, if you don't deliver,
Yeah. Right.
You will lose everything because ultimately you have to perform.
Right.
So all the marketing and all the branding part, someone else is doing it on your part, right? But see, you have to balance that. Okay, you have to deliver. And if you can't deliver, I think financially you will not grow. This is my understanding. You give your thoughts on that.
देखो, I think where it starts from is a word called नियत. नियत अगर सही हो ना, तो आप जाओगे ऊपर. अगर आप सोच रहे हो कि you are going to get into marketing, I'll be this cat person, get really good at marketing and branding and all of that, and you do, all right. So you're putting, and you're saying the main product, वो ठीक है यार, चल जाएगा. So then I think it's a question of niyat, because are you bringing value to people versus saying, see me, I am here, give me money, give me money, give me money. So then I think it's pointing towards niyat. Agar niyat sahi hai ki haan, I want to push myself out there, great, no problem, there's nothing wrong with that. But I will also, कहते हैं ना, ताली हो दो हाथ से बजती है. So if you're trying to बजाओ the ताली with one हाथ, थोड़ा मुश्किल पड़ जाता है फिर. So you need the other hand. Innovation without marketing, doesn't have wings, and marketing without innovation doesn't have roots. So it's like wings and roots. I'm just thinking about this on the fly. I hope that makes a little sense. So I think these are two things. So innovation going, or your subject matter expertise going along with the marketing game. Now, if you don't have the subject matter expertise, that's all right. That's okay. Go team up with someone who has. So now it brings in the whole niyat bit again, because now you're also helping somebody who doesn't have the marketing savvy, who doesn't have the positioning branding savvy, but you're helping that person to climb and you're growing. So, I mean, everybody wins. So I think if we view it like that, I can't say you will be a winner, but there's a good chance that you will crack it.
And I so agree to what he's saying. Everything, you have to balance out everything. And I think this is absolutely great. Okay, Greg.
Sorry. If I may just bring in a bit of a twist, and this thought is not completely formed, but I don't mean balance. Okay, and I'll tell you why I say that. Everybody's talking balance. I don't mean balance, and I'll tell you why. My belief is greatness is not balanced. Okay, I'll say that again. Greatness is not balanced. Why? You take any of these great guys. Okay, who? Einstein, Steve Jobs, Bill Gates, just take it. So physicist, computer guy, Warren Buffett, money guy, any of these great guys, only their life is crazily skewed here. So Einstein's son tried to commit suicide, or he did commit suicide, and the other kids of his, says he's a terrible father, and he was, he had this crazy roving eye and stuff like that. So, so that's one. There's Einstein, Richard Feynman, same thing. Yeah. Okay, great guy and stuff, but there are a lot of his areas of his life that as good as he was, whatever. Then there's, of course, Buffett. So Buffett, I mean, he developed a really platonic relationship with his wife in the end, and they were like good friends, and his wife got him introduced to another lady and stuff like that, who was a kind of a quasi wife, but his entire skew was money, right? Same with Jobs. I mean, it was so difficult. Look at Musk. I mean, you want to take the civilization of this planet to another planet. You cannot do that by being balanced. And everybody's saying, a stupid fellow man, whether his decision is right or wrong, I'm not getting into that. What I'm getting at is the guy is not balanced. He's imbalanced, right? His relationships and etc. The crazy amount of, so Narayan Murthy said the other day, 70-hour work week. Youth should be working 70-hour work week. Come on, guys. I mean, really, what about burnout? Musk is doing 120-hour work weeks, man. I can't even think about it, right? So that's not coming from balance, right? So if you're pursuing greatness, if that's your pursuit, greatness, it's very difficult. If your pursuit is greatness in the spiritual realm, तो balance लाना बहुत मुश्किल है, क्योंकि spiritual वाला बंदा भी वो सब छोड़ छाड़ के चले जाता है ना, he'll go to the Vanvas or wherever else. So, but you need on the other hand either innovation or marketing, depending on where you're skewed to. That can be got from somebody else. Like a Jobs, he's not good at working with people, but he got on some amazing. Wozniak is his number two, the guy initially or second guy or something like that, he collaborated with. That guy is the secret behind Apple. As much as Jobs is at performance stuff, it's Wozniak's coding and stuff, man. So that's how you can balance the imbalance. That's my take. Might be wrong.
No, you're right. And I think that's a great insight that you just gave in. Okay, Greg, tell me something. How do your passions outside the training and the work, such as motorcycling, so all those different kinds of hobbies, how are they influencing your work and your professional mindset? Over to you.
I like a good single malt. Okay. So how does that influence? Damn clear, man. That just turns very few things turn the chabi off. That just turns the chabi off. So nice relaxing on a Friday and Saturday. I'm pretty routinized about this. Friday and Saturday only, evenings only. Or nothing like coming back to a good single malt. So that's one. That's a passion. And very few of them. It's not about being expensive. It's about being few. I like the peated kind. Okay. So that's one. I think so. Nitish Shanti, I don't know if you know him. He's a monk turned trainer, and gave up his robes and came and started training. Good friend, and look up to him a little bit, quite a bit, in fact. So he was doing a workshop for us once, and he asked a question to the room. He said, when are you most mindful? In this day and age, when all of us are scattered, me included, in our attention span, when are you most mindful? So somebody said something, reading, something. I said, when the needle of my speedometer on my motorcycle is doing anything above 140, then I am there. Right? Again, there's no balance in that, because little bit blade of grass, you can die or worse, survive, right? So, but that time I'm like, there's nothing else. That's, even can enter your head. And that's, to me, is very meditative. For a few reasons. Why? One is the whole experience. But the bike allows me and gets me to do something that I love more than the bike, and that's the mountains. God knows there's something about the mountains, man. I mean, when I ride up, I see a lot of people just sticking their heads out of their cars, and I've seen people, almost naked dancing at the side of the road, and that's been a common sight, you're driving up and stuff, and playing loud music, and I say the hills do something to you. So for me, I'm not a sea kind of person. I'm the hills guy. So these are my passions, and how they how they come full circle is that tomorrow, for example, no, tomorrow something else is planned out. Friday, for example, I'm riding up into close to Missouri somewhere, and I plan to spend a good 6 hours dedicated, focused on content writing. Okay, so I mean, that to me gives me the fuel to write like crazy or get something done, which, like my website, I need my other website right now. CC for Leaders is up for a long time. My other website, I'm like, no, I'm not going to do it. But the minute I get on my bike, ride up, I'm there, I'm getting my stuff done. I think that's how.
So I don't know if I got it right, but it's like a sadhana, you're saying, that gets you to a better space. That's what you're saying, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Okay, wonderful.
Nicely summarized, nicely put together, Rashi.
Thank you. Okay, Greg, what is your one message to all the communities and brands out there? Over to you.
Yeah, my one message, very different from what we've been talking about. I don't mean this at a philosophical level. I mean this in a very practical way. I think we're all chasing growth, chasing happiness, chasing something great. Go for it. Whatever your poison is, drugs, happiness, meaning, purpose, you choose. I'm no one to say good, bad, or ugly. But what I see is that this planet that we are living on ना, इसके पास कोई gatekeeper नहीं है, कोई custodian नहीं है. आप किसी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में जाओगे, एचआर में कस्टोडियन होता है, धंधा का सीईओ होता है, कंट्री का प्राइम मिनिस्टर होता है, but this is very ironical. Yeah, I mean the place that we're thriving on, or not thriving on, just living it at least, there's zero custodians for this place. And I think my message is people, profit, planet. Yeah, hey, fine, there are enough of people. I don't know, maybe a lot of people would give me some flack on this one. Caring for people and all, everyone, yeah, we should empathize, we should care, love, spread the love, inclusion, etc., etc. So go do that if you want to. Profit, yeah, we won't survive. But the planet bit, no, that's just getting completely sidelined. Yeah, at a policy level. So I'm saying, how can we, do work at an individual level for our planet, but also how can we look at some people stepping up into positions of power? I don't know how many can do this, very few maybe. Creating systems, being innovative, creating systems, influencing people, bringing your brain power, horsepower to making this a better world to live in.
Yeah, well put. And I think it's a great point that you're just saying. What has been your success mantra? You've tasted corporate world, you are an entrepreneur, you're also a trainer. So tell us all.
Couple of I don't know, difficult to explain a few lines, but I think couple of things. One is, and it has shaped my belief. I operate out of a paradigm of strengths. Go figure your strengths. Yeah, spend time on really figuring out. And I think a lot of people have said this, and it's cliched, but I think it's true. Figure out your strengths, and is that something that you would want to pursue? That's a good place to start. That's one. But for me, what has worked is very uncorporate, is faith, yeah. Faith in something bigger than yourself. Whatever name you want to call it, or him or her. I'm hoping it's a her. But yeah, I mean, faith has, very palpable, yeah. I mean, having faith and getting results. Somebody wrote a book the other day. Don't let hope be your only strategy, something like that, or your plan, aisi kuch, na? Don't let hope be your only plan, or don't let hope be your strategy. And I said, why? Viktor Frankl wrote about, getting out of that crazy place, Auschwitz. And one of the mantras that he said is, he said, first you kindle the hope that there is hope. And even, I'm forgetting the guy's name, who was tortured in the Vietnam prison. That's what he said. He said very realistic hope, and he's broken. I'm forgetting his name right now. There's a whole complex behind his name. I'm forgetting the exact name. So hope is a big thing, and for me, hope translates to faith, and having faith in this whole big something, energy or something out there which is bigger than me. I think that's been. Not to say that you should not know your stuff, only have faith and stuff. Hey, know your stuff and all, but this has been. Yeah, for me.
Okay, now this is a personal question I'm asking you.
Are you going to get me in trouble?
I don't get in trouble.
Okay.
Tell me more about your look. Like, we've never had a bald guy on our show. It's
No. Yeah. What about my look?
Because I feel that my personal feeling that bald people are
Sexy.
They're sexy, of course.
Yeah.
But then they have a lot of depth in them. I don't know why I always have that feeling, but so let's hear what about your look now.
Ma'am, death web zyada kuch nahi hai. ठीक है जी. This is what I am trying to get by from one day to another. Being helped by the good Lord. Look is this long time back, I had a receding hairline. So hair kept going off. So I see a lot of people, the hair is gone, they're still fighting to show that they've got hair left. I just chopped the damn thing off. Then when I chopped it off, I realized, that also takes less maintenance, man, and it's cheaper, so a lot of ladies or guys go to the salon, and so on all counts, it's just more practical and stuff like that, and yeah. So that's what.
Super. Coming back to your work area now, tell me about your niche and also about the new things. What are your future plans? Anything new coming up? Any newsletter coming up? Any blogs coming up? Let's hear.
Yeah. So I was jack of all trades for a long time, maybe still am a little. For a long time, tried to get, like I said initially, try to get good at this also, that also, So did leadership programs also, team building programs also, email writing skills program also. And the list was just endless. And I still do. But 2022, I think, just closing COVID and stuff, I figured out that, if you really want to grow in ticket size, for me, it became very important. And I realized that being known for one thing was very important to me as a person. This is without any marketing knowledge. Well, I'll correct that. Actually, Seth Godin, in his book, This is Marketing, I just read that one book, and he said, it's very important to define that niche of yours. So that became important for me also personally. I said I need to be known for one thing, because I'm what really gets me is one day and I love researching. So one day I'll research this, go down, then research that and go down. But I'm not the master of anything. And then like 23, 24 years, you should be a master of something. That's what's very important for me. So I decided to niche down. I wanted to niche down on how to create a personal brand, right? But then I realized that's something that I have been kind of good at. And that's been very passionate. I did a master's in English language long back. Liked writing like back in the day when I was in class 11, I liked writing and stuff like that. So I said this whole communication thing is something that I want to niche around, something that has communication to do with. And also, you know, when I got into the corporate space, you alluded to this earlier on. The crazy thing with me would be I'd be in a meeting and somebody would push me back, like verbally, a tough guy, a tough boss or something. And I just freeze up, you know, and somebody else would take the spotlight and run. Huh? Like, I remember one of my bosses, I was doing something on innovation, and this guy asked me, he says, "Hey, Greg, why haven't you defined innovation or something like that?" You know, and I just melted over there. I didn't know how to push back, stand up for myself. And because of that, my ideas, somebody else was taking and running with. So I said, communication is a strength, but I also want to dip a little into the weakness angle of it and say, what is it that I'm losing out on? And that is, how do I push back? How do I stand up for myself? What I call confront positive. I didn't know how to do that. And still I'm struggling with that. So I want to niche down on that. What it turned out to be was something which I termed presentation science. What is the science behind presenting yourself? Not making sexy slides and charts. I don't know how to do that. I outsource that, right? But how do you present well? How do you open a present in 60 seconds? How do you get an audience's attention? How do you close with a bang and not just say, "Oh, thank you for your time"? How do you close with a bang, right? Or somebody, you know, client, I'll give you an example. Client comes to you and says, you're on a call, all right? And you're taking this client through a very well prepared project plan and stuff like that. And in the middle of it, you explained it to this client over and over and over again. And client's been nodding. And suddenly the client says, Greg or Rashi, I'm completely lost. Or I'm so confused. And you want to really tear your hair out, you know, how much of a tough thing that'll be for me. But you just want to say, what the hell, man? And you know, when the client says that to you, you know, like the ground's just gone out from you. You know, you're not going to get that project. You're going to get wrapped on your knuckles, or something bad's going to happen. How do you regain control? That's what I teach now. Because why? Because I had plenty of egg on my face, right across the years. So I wanted to, so that's what I'd say, well, confront positive. How do you push back here? Hold on a second, right? How do you get back to the client and, you know, figure something like that out? So therefore, I started this thing called presentation science. How do you do small talk? How do you stand up for your own ideas? How do you argue well? How do you deal with a bully? Someone calls you a jerk, what do you say? Or other expletive, what do you say? And I'm talking about in the corporate scenario. So that got me to focus on this thing called a presentation science. And I, like Inashi said, this I've converted into a newsletter. I post on LinkedIn. I've converted this to a newsletter, and every week I give like 120 words around that, you know, so you can read it in like 30 seconds, 1 minute. That's it. Short, bite-sized nuggets on how to present. So, for example, I realize that I'm repeating myself, for example. Most people, when they open up a presentation, they would say something like, "Thank you for your time," or "Good morning, everyone. And we're all gathered here to do this presentation on so-and-so, and I am so-and-so, and I'm going to take you through this presentation so-and-so." Oh, that's rubbish, man. I mean, those 60 seconds when you're opening up is golden. That's gold. You know, first impressions. And last impressions, we can talk about that later. But those 60 seconds, go and leverage those 60, bang on. How do you do that? You could start. I'm going to give you 3 ways of how you can open your presentation. Way number 1, start the very first words out of your mouth are, I hate to admit it, but blank, and then say something that connects into your message. Or, I must confess that blank, and then connect that into your message. Or you could say something like, something that you'd be surprised to know about me, or something you'd never guess about me is blank, and then ensure that that connects somehow into your message. So the minute you do that, you're getting attention. See, the whole thing in a presentation is about A, getting attention, and B, retaining attention. So this is a quick strategy about getting attention. Then later on, I'll talk about retaining attention and then how to close well, converting that into action items and stuff like that. So that's just to give you an idea.
And I think it's helped me as well.
Oh, nice.
This is absolutely wonderful. Today we delved into the mind of Greg Chapman, an international facilitator, coach, instructional designer, a truly inspiring story on our show. His details, his email ID is available on the post and on the video. Get in touch with him. Greg, आपका बहुत बहुत thanks है क्या भाई.
Thank you, Ji. Thank you, Rashi.